Hello and welcome back to the dugout. Now, the SPFL season is on the horizon. It begins on Saturday, so I'm here for my first SPFL predictions of the season. Now, the games we have are as follows: Celtic against St Johnstone, so the champions against St Johnstone. Hibs against St Mirren, Livingston against Motherwell, Ross County against Hamilton, and then we have two games on Sunday, obviously due to Europa League participation. Kilmarnock against Rangers and Aberdeen against Hearts. Right, first game I'm going to preview is Celtic against St Johnstone. Now, the last 5 games between the sides have resulted in Celtic winning all 5 by a combined aggregate of 16-0. 5-0, 2-0, 2-0, 6-0 and 1-0. So you can understand that, St Johnstone have a very poor record against Celtic, and I don't see that continuing. Celtic will want to start the season very, very well. Obviously, they'll be unfurling the flag, the winner's flag, so they'll be unfurling that. Nobody managed to beat Celtic last season at Parkhead. Celtic were unbeaten all season at Parkhead last season, so they'll want to continue that. St Johnstone's season has started really poorly. Dumped out of the Scottish League Cup. They got beat by Forth for Athletic last time out as well, so they haven't started very well. And I think Tommy Wright might be a manager that could be under pressure this season. If I'm being honest, I think it's going to be interesting that, when you've stayed at a club for maybe too long, it's getting the feeling that maybe Tommy Wright may be coming to the end of his tenure at St Johnstone, but who knows? I mean, Tommy Wright was once he was linked with the Hibs job. And obviously other jobs as well. Rangers in particular, I think, were after him a couple of years ago. Obviously, they've got Stephen Gerrard now, so I think St Johnstone, if they don't start very well, I think Tommy Wright may be in danger. But for the Celtic, obviously they got through their Champions League group. Last round, so they play CFR Cluj in this game. Celtic will want to start well. I think they will probably start well. I'm gonna go for a comfortable Celtic win, and I think it's going to be a continuation of St Johnstone just not scoring against Celtic. Like I said, the last 5 games they've not scored a single goal against Celtic, so I don't see that continuing. So I'm going to go Celtic 3, St Johnstone 0. Next match is Hibs against St Mirren. Now the last 3, they only played 3 times last season, so there was 2 wins to Hibs and a draw at Easter Road, which was that famous 2-2 game where Adam Hamill scored from 50 yards out against Adam Bogdan. Why does that not surprise me, considering that Adam Bogdan has just been released from Liverpool, and considering that he actually did concede straight from a corner once for Liverpool against Exeter City. Yes. St Mirren are expected to struggle this season, without a shadow of a doubt. I know they've got rid of Oren Kearney. He obviously has gone back to Coleraine, so it'd be very, very interesting to see how they do under Jim Goodwin. Hibs under Paul Hickenbottom have made some very astute signings. That Christian Doidge, Josh Vela. I was going to say Carlos Vela there for a change, but no, Josh Vela, Andy Jackson, Tom James, Scott Allen, of course. So obviously he's come back. But yeah, I mean Hibs will want to improve on last season's 5th place. I think they'll want to maybe climb the table a little bit. But as far as things goes, Hibs are safely through to the next round of the Scottish League Cup, whereas St Mirren are not. They got knocked out. So there's a lot of teams there that have knocked themselves out, especially with the especially with the interesting interesting cup groups. Actually, I think the teams I've noticed that went out. St Mirren were one of them. Hamilton were one of them, and obviously St Johnstone as well. So, as far as this game goes, I know there was a draw between the sides at Easter Road the last time between these sides. I think that Hibs will be too much for St Mirren. I do think St Mirren will get a goal. Hibs' back line hasn't been very, very good lately. Seem to be seem to concede a wee bit in the cup, but then again, I suppose people will say that is pre-season still. But I'm gonna go for a Hibs win here by 3-1. Hibs 3, St Mirren 1. Now we have people are calling this a derby. I can understand why, but it really isn't a derby as far as I'm concerned. As a Livingston fan, it's not very much a derby. But if anyone else thinks it's a derby, then obviously let me know. Livingston against Motherwell. Now, Livingston and Motherwell met 5 times last season, once in the Scottish League Cup, and then 4 times in the league. And Motherwell won 2. Motherwell won 3 games. Livingston won 1, and there was a draw there in good measure. The last time out, it was 3-2 to Motherwell. Motherwell went into a 3-0 lead, and then Scott Tiffany scored 2 late goals to give Livingston there was a hope, but obviously that wasn't the case. So yeah, obviously it's the return of Declan Gallagher. He's coming back to Livingston with Motherwell. Motherwell, I fully expect to really do well this season. I think they've really bought well. I think they're going to. I mean, obviously losing David Turnbull to injury is not very, very good. But then again, I think it's interesting to see that they will probably be one of the top 6. I think this season. I think they've got a really, really good squad. Stephen Robinson, obviously he's been linked with a few clubs as well. So I think Motherwell will do really, really well. As for my team, all change really. Liam Kelly gone, Craig Halkett gone, and obviously Declan Gallagher is coming back. Yeah, I do worry that he might score. But he's got the same number as he did at Livingston, Declan Gallagher, 31. Yeah, Livingston, they've bought pretty well. I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult without Kelly, Halkett, and Gallagher. That backbone of the club, and obviously Sean Byrne as well. He's obviously left for Pastures New at Dundee, but Marvin Bartley signed from Hibs. We've got a very tricky winger in Eamon Suda. Lyndon Dykes from Queen of the South as well. So yeah, not many goals between Motherwell and Livingston actually. I'm gonna go along the same wavelength. I think both teams will want to start well. I think Livingston last season at home took points off every single team last season. Obviously they drew with Celtic. They obviously beat Rangers. They beat Hibs. They beat Hearts. Beat Kilmarnock. Beat Motherwell. Beat St Mirren. Beat Dundee. So they took points off everyone last season. So I think the worry I have for this game is that Motherwell might have too much for Livingston. But then again, I'm not so sure. I think both teams will come into this pretty much. I mean, Motherwell were unbeaten in their cup group. Didn't concede a goal, which really, really worries me. But yeah, do you know what? I'm actually going to go for a draw on this one. I can't separate them. They've both had good cup runs and got some good games in the next round. Motherwell got Hearts and Forfar have got Livingston, so that will be very interesting as well. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw between Livingston and Motherwell, which wouldn't be a bad start considering that Livingston lost to Celtic last season 3-1. So it'd be an okay start. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw on that one. Ross County against Hamilton. Now, obviously, the last time these two met was the 2017-2018 season, and in that season, Well, there were 2 draws, a win, and a win apiece. So they've got a pretty good games between them. The last time out, obviously, was a 2-2 draw, and that was the very, very last day of the last season, where Ross County were obviously relegated. So, Ross County, great to see them back. Really good to see them back. Really good club. I think obviously losing Jamie Lindsay to Rotherham United, but I think they'll be fine. I expect them to do well because of their home form. Away form maybe not so, but home form is what really got them going last season. Was their home form to get up. Hamilton, how many times are they going to avoid relegation? I mean, every time someone says they're going to go down, every time they always seem to fight back. I think it's going to be a similar season for them. I think they'll definitely be battling relegation. I think it is between Hamilton and St Mirren to go down this season. But who knows what will happen. For this game, I think Ross County will want to start well. Obviously, their first game in the top flight. They will obviously unfurl their flag as well, as they won the championship last season. So I think Ross County will want to start well. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Ross County. So Ross County 2, Hamilton 1. So these are the games on Saturday. We have 2 games on Sunday, and the first one is Kilmarnock against Rangers. Now, this is interesting. Now, Kilmarnock and Rangers met 7 times last season. Obviously, one was in the Scottish League Cup, and also one was in the actually there was one that was in the Scottish Cup as well. But it's interesting who's got the upper hand on this one. Actually, it really is. So Rangers last season won twice against Kilmarnock. Kilmarnock, on the other hand, they won twice, and there was 2 draws. 3 draws. Obviously, one was a replay, but yeah, Kilmarnock seem to have the upper hand on Rangers. However, this is a different Rangers side this season. Who am I thinking? Ojo, Aribo, the centre back from Sweden, Hallander. Is it Hallander? I think that's his name. Jordan Jones, Greg Stewart, pretty much across the board, and actually they've managed to keep Alfredo Morelos, who was the target for one of the Chinese teams, and he's obviously turned that down. So hats off to him for that. He will need to improve his disciplinary record after obviously getting 4 red cards last season. 3 of which were against Aberdeen, and then obviously the one was against Celtic. Kilmarnock obviously dumped out of the Europa League by Connacht Nomads, which was probably the worst result in Scottish history. But then again, who would be to say that? But I think Kilmarnock, obviously without Steve Clarke, it's going to be a very interesting season for them. I think not made many signings. I think they've made maybe 2 signings so far this season. But obviously the Scottish window obviously shuts at the end of August, so that's quite interesting. So I don't see, I can see them, getting a few more bodies, and obviously Chris Boyd has retired now, so obviously they've lost some goals in that team. So, and obviously Eamon Brophy seems to be continually being linked with Cardiff City as well. So it'll be interesting to see if Eamon Brophy is still there by the deadline, by the English deadline, which is next Thursday. So it's quite interesting to see that one. So we'll see what happens with that. As far as this game is concerned, I really cannot see other than a Rangers win. I think Stephen Gerrard will want to get Rangers starting very, very well, and I think they will do that. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Rangers. Come on, at 1, Rangers 3. And the last game on Sunday is another team that seems to be getting played in the Europa League is Aberdeen against Hearts. Now, Aberdeen and Hearts met 4 times last season, with Aberdeen winning 2 games and Hearts winning 2 games as well. So they're pretty even in that aspect. Aberdeen, obviously, they'll be in Europa League action tonight. Obviously, they take a 2-1 lead back home. So obviously, 2 away goals is massive for them. So hopefully they will get through. Rangers likewise as well in progress in Luxembourg, but we all know what happened last time out when they were there. Hearts, obviously their last result, there's a lot of unrest at Hearts. The fans are restless. Losing to East Fife on penalties does not really give you much belief in what you want Hearts to do. But Craig Halkett, obviously, I've said this many times. It's a fantastic signing for Hearts. He's hit the ground running with 3 goals in 4 games. 3 goals in 3 games. Sorry, I should say. And he also made an assist in the last game as well. So he started really well. And he scored up at Pittodrie last season for Livingston. So can he do the same again for Hearts at Aberdeen? Obviously, they've now signed Stephen Naismith. That's a very good signing for Hearts. We all know about his goal scoring. Because basically, once he got injured, the goals sort of dried up for Hearts. And I think they are going to need someone to hit the back of the net, definitely. And I think Naismith will be that person. And obviously, they've got Connor Washington as well, Uche Ikpeazu as well. And obviously, Jamie Walker has signed on as well. Aberdeen have lost Gary Mackay-Steven, but they've got Curtis Main and Sam Cosgrove. So will they be able to play together? That's another thing we'll have to see for that one. As far as this game concerns, I'm going to have to go for an Aberdeen win. I think home advantage is very key. Aberdeen will definitely need to improve their home form though. Mainly they were getting points away from home last season, which is quite interesting. So they'll definitely want to start better at their home ground. So I'm going for an Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0. Aberdeen 2, Hearts 0. So that is my predictions for the game week 1 of the upcoming SPFL season 1920. Obviously, if anyone else has any predictions that they would like to put in, then obviously put in the comments down below. I want to have more fan interaction on these predictions, especially with the Premier League ones coming up as well. I will be back later on with my Premier League predicted table, and I'm also going to attempt to predict the Championship table. So look out for those as well. But thank you very much for watching this video, and like I said, please leave your predictions in the comments down below, and obviously we'll see who does well, and if you do better than me, then I will give you a shout out. So that'll be good as well. Right, thank you very much for watching this video, and yeah, good luck to your teams for the new season, and I'll be back with you very soon. Cheers. Bye bye.